And today is Wednesday, May 21st, and the happy day that I meet Doña Gloria Arjona.
Mucho gusto.
So, you said you met her father, and he was...
Yeah. He was very tall, very somewhat...
muscular? Big man?
Big, rosy.
Rosy face?
Rosy face, maybe round, somewhat round. And he was like some happy person, spirited. And I met him in Washington with Muna. And I think I must have some picture of him, maybe.
Would you prefer to sit down?
Yeah, wait. This is a picture, the photo of a picture painted by Doña Mary. Mary is Muna's mother. Mary McWilliams. This is another photocopy of the what she saw from the house in Mississippi. Mississippi, was it?
Yes.
The patio, the back part of the house. This is Mary McWilliams. McWilliams?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And this is Department of State. When I keep finding things, I just put them here, and I don't know what they are, because they protect.
Yes.
You see, letters that I keep finding, and I put them here. Maria Munoz. I don't know what this is. This is Munita. Munita, her daughter.
Yes.
And the others.
She's very pretty.
She was pretty when she was young. She was. This letter for Munita, dear Muna, for Muna. Munita. That's Julio Rosado's daughter. That Margarita.
Mrs. Margarita. And her sister was Carmencita.
Carmencita. Here. Carmencita. She died of cancer. And I think
the brother lives in Virginia.
I don't know.
He lives in Virginia.
Gabriel in Virginia?
Yes.
I don't have his address, but I have talked to him through the telephone. I think he has been a hard-working person. This I just put in here because I keep finding things. I don't know. I keep finding things and I put them in this album. Muna y Munita. Algo pasó. Somebody died. Dear Munita. Mrs. Munita Munoz Lee. But I think I have
Photos.
some, see.
Because I'm looking for some photos for the book.
No, these photos are my family, which I had sent her when they were kids, when they were babies. And when papers came back from Washington, I have been taking those photos apart.
Okay.
And put them here. I have copies of these in my albums, but I put these. I took them from Muna's papers, and this is my family. I think this one is part of Muna's collection of her family. We don't have these bricks here in Puerto Rico, at least at that time. This is part of my family. But this, no, this is Aunt Luarina, daughter, sister of Munoz Marin's mother. whom Muna loved, really loved. She says, Mama. She would call Doña Malo, Mama. And this is part of those pictures that came from Muna's papers. Maybe they are mixed with some of my pictures, my very own pictures, snapshots.
And who is this woman?
That's me. That's me when I was young. And that's me when I was young with my first son, the maid. And, well, here is Muna's house in San Juan, which they sold when I went to Spain. She was very much in love with this place. And some of the things she had there, that school desk, she ordered through a magazine, and she brought it to Puerto Rico. It's from the school she was in Mississippi. And she had it here.
I see.
And when she died, Munita gave me many things, many very difficult to carry things, especially the library of Muñoz Rivera, the bookcase. Here is another picture of Muna.
Yeah, I have this picture. What year do you think this picture is? This profile?
It must be of the decade of the 30s.
You think the 30s?
See. That I sent, I think that's my daughter has some other pictures. Dear Muna, Luis is her son. And that's Luis and Munita in front of the Pan American Union. And that's Doña Malo, Muñoz Marin's mother,
yes,
whom she called Mama. And that's the copy of the place she... There's Munita and her husband, the painter Julio Rosado.
Yes, he's had many wives, I understand.
Well,
A man of many
he
wives.
married Munita, then he married Alma, who died last year. And I think he's now married again. But that's normal for the for the American civilization.
Yes.
Here's another picture of Muna.
What year do you think this is? It looks...
Maybe
50s?
the decade of the 40th. Maybe.
40s?
I couldn't tell you.
This is not the original, this is a copy.
This is a copy, but I don't know. I couldn't find the originals. Maybe this is the original. I don't know. No. This is not the original. I had the university take a copy, but they cut it like that. So this picture must have been taken, this copy, before I gave it to the photographer at the university, because it was so doblado.
Yeah, folded.
Folded.
And there's a crease.
Is that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was mad, but I had to accept.
So what other photos of Muna?
I may have some other photos, but I have boxes and boxes of photos, all mixed. My daughter Gloriela has an album, and an album that was found among the books Munita left in Julio's garage, and then they put them on the street or something, and a friend of my daughter's husband found that album and gave it to Gloriela, I think, or to a friend that was musician, and then that musician gave it to my daughter. All that came to my hands, I have kept. I mean, I have kept, comillas. You know, many things I guess are lost. So I'm going to read this tonight.
So you'll enjoy that story. And you say you have some boxes of Muna's papers, the trunks.
Those in the last row are Muna's. This is Muna.
Yes.
This is Muna's. As I put them upside down and move them, this is work for more than a year. That is Muna. I have been dealing with that one. This was the one that I thought was lost because it doesn't have names. The names written in the outside.
And these, I see, this is Muna.
Muna. There is one here, or there, or somewhere else that deals especially with my family and my relation with Muna. Those I want to check them.
Yes.
There are personal things. I don't know what trunk. Those are official and her work. Let me open here. Fuera.
The puppies.
No, pero they are hungry, that's why they come from me. There are so many personal things, and I am very jealous about that. Last night I was trying to put aside all that is first that which deals with the Caribbean islands, then personal letters, you know, a rough classification of papers. That is a must for me to do. But today, have you seen at the foundation?
The what?
The Fundación Muñoz Marín?
No, not yet.
But you have to go there. I mean, they would like you to go.
This is only my first trip.
Oh, you have to study these papers. You must come very often to Puerto Rico. Not often, but more than once. You see, she got, many of these papers are related to her work
Yes, I see.
in the Department of State. She got everything. She has kept everything about the Caribbean, South American poets and writers and governments, and for this edition or for some other edition you have to. It's an interesting work you have to, or somebody has to do, because it gives you a panorama of all the knowledge of which that you have of our, how do we call it, Mediterranean Sea. It's very interesting. When those materials came, they were accompanied by many other things, some silver things and personal things, and of course they came to Luis, to her son, and I said, just keep the papers for me. Take everything else and keep the papers for me. Because I am very much interested in history, and I think part of Puerto Rico is there. There should be a person that studied not only the poetry.
Well, that's my initial interest in Yuna, is her work as a poet and
Yes, I know.
translator.
I know. She's a very good poet. I know that in one of those baúles, in one of those trunks, I have the first edition of her book. And many personal things, because my father was got to be, because she asked him to be her lawyer in the case of the divorce. That is private and personal. But where are those papers? In which trunk?
I see.
Or are they in some trunk of my belonging to my father? I don't know. I know they existed. The Fundación Muñoz Marín wanted me to let them copy all Muñoz papers, and I said, okay, you bring the machine and you bring people that help you, okay, all the things that deals with Puerto Rico, not the personal thing, but well, time passed by, and then they expropriated the house where I kept all this, and here I am, almost at the end of my life, pushing trunks upside down.
So, as I said earlier, graduate students would love to work and help you organize.
I know.
I mean, you know, most people would think this is junk. You and I understand this is a treasure.
A treasure. This is a treasure. And maybe it would do the American relations good to see what's in there.
Yes. And these papers, of course, are
I don't know. It's when maybe I have changed from one crumb to another, and they get.
this is.
But I don't know if I have.
You went to the University of Pennsylvania?
No.
There's a woman named Gloria. What's the?
That might be Gloria Lee. Daughter, that's daughter of Dr. Ashford, maybe, Gloria Ashford. Dr. Ashford that came here with the soldiers in '98 and was very good friend of Muna. Dr. Bailey K. Ashford. I have his book.
This is amazing.
Yes, you can sit here.
It makes me feel like I'm 80 years old. Looking at these papers, there's so much here.
Of course, and that's only one franc.
And I
Look
see.
here. Look here. Now for bad luck, the refrigerator down there in the house was off yesterday. So I went to the store buying some Coca-Cola, and this was intended to be only this part, and this room with keys and Rhea.
Okay.
But then I put that part because a little kitchen and a bathroom and a staircase, which is very dangerous, still is very dangerous to go to the patio. It's not finished yet. So here, you see, yesterday I started taking the flyer there over the desk. These are Muna newspapers. For example, part of the chapters of the history of Altamira, annotated by her, and parts of the chapters.
Oh, yes.
That's notes on the island, on the voyagers that came to the Caribbean.
Yeah, she did this with Alistair, let's see, Archibald MacLeish.
Archibald MacLeish, I know. And there are letters, lots of letters from Archibald MacLeish. And that's the Voice of America, was it?
The Story of America.
The Story of America. And then he had that program,
the radio.
the radio program. Yeah. You see? That's when she retired. She was already very sick. I don't know who that man is. Maybe it's, she was under Dean Acheson that congratulated her, and we had pictures of that, and of a feast in honor of Unity, but I don't know where those pictures are.
Here is a letter, April 7, 1965.
Who's it?
From William Crockett of the Deputy Undersecretary of State.
Well,
I was greatly saddened to hear the passing of your mother so soon after her return.
my grandmother Mary died.
This is when Una died, no?
Dear Miss Lee. No, that's new.
That's to Una?
Yes, the passing of your mother is grandmother Mary's death. No. And that's when she passed away. That's Miss Muna Lee Munoz Lee. That's Munita, her daughter.
Yes, to Munita.
To Munita. That's 65, is it?
Yes. Una
Yeah.
died April 5th, 1960, or April 4th.
April
3rd.
Maybe,
It's in the book.
at the beginning of April.
The beginning of April.
Here, she retired from the Department of State and was so ilusionada with her house here in San Juan. And when she came, 1 month after she came, she died. After many years in the department. Some of those things that are missing there are there. I was trying to see what was in this trunk.
So how can I borrow some of these things?
Well, not borrow. You tell me what you want. We've got photocopy. You want the foundation to help you in that sense?
Well, I mean, for example, I'm looking, here's a photograph that perhaps would be appropriate to have.
Well, there's a place here in San Juan, in Atorrey, that
We'll make a photocopies.
sure, a copy, the exact photocopy of that.
So I can make a pile on a desk in there
Yes.
of things.
And then we go. You take your material and I take mine. You see what I
Okay.
mean? And I know what I'm telling you. No, there's no security of taking these in a car. Everything. I have had to be like a guardian. Because they are interested in papers, in pictures, newspapers. Here is Muna. I never take things, I have myself in a car here. Here's the keys. Let me see where the keys are. The keys.
This is unbelievable. What a scene. There must be 25, 30 trunks. I count of Muna's papers alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Let me see what's up there. These are very expensive phones, but still I have to do it. But I have already put them in archivos. How do you call it?
Copies.
Files.
Afuera, por favor.
Fuera. When I put everything in the files, they kept looking at them, people that came at night, not here, in the other house, and they were, rómpelo, no sé lo que es, but I keep saying where I found it or something. ¡Vamos! Fuera. Fuera, fuera.
Looks like a wallet.
Just break it, the paper is only. It has a picture. That's school
Yes.
with
Height.
Munoz Lee or Munita.
It's Louise, 6'1", weight 185 pounds.
Yes, that's Luis.
So when did you meet Louise?
At the University of Puerto Rico in 90, cartera vieja de Luis Muñoz Lee, que apareció entre los herejes y las cartas. I found this among letters, old letters. I put it here.
Did the Fundación people come and look through all of these?
No.
No?
They asked me to let them copy everything, and I said, okay, we can work on that. But then they didn't say anymore. Yesterday they phoned, and I said, I have a person that's writing about Doña Muna, and he's coming tomorrow. And I think they were not too much interested when they didn't come, but I just couldn't, my heart, couldn't immediately when they came to copy Munoz Marin's papers. I just couldn't keep working. What's that?
These are things that I've been looking for. Three letters that I heard about. And
Y una papeles
Yeah,
de
these are
cara,
reports.
Zandburg Archibald McLeish, yes.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you, Muna, because she just helped me find all this, something. I had heard about these letters from somebody. I don't know how he found out about them.
Well,
But
I am sure some institutions or persons have been interested in Muna's papers. They had the opportunity of looking at everything because these papers have been in a company in the United States until they came to Puerto Rico. Looking at them. And maybe there is nothing to worry about. She just has her personal papers and her works papers. And I'm sorry I couldn't get many of those papers came to Munita. And she threw many of them away in garbage cans when she moved to Barcelona. But I was looking at those papers, and I went to her house when she left the house, and I took them out of the cans, many of them, and I just couldn't get to the end of the cans. Some things went away. Because they have so many problems. I mean, trying to make a living. Unita. She didn't want to work for the government, and she tried to make a living out of translating Robert Louis. No, Oscar Lewis.
Yes, I know she worked as a translator.
And that was very hard for her. Very, very hard.
These are Muna's notebooks, poems.
Yeah, and originals of poems. Look at that! Ooh!
They like
No,
Muna's
I have-
poetry.
See, get aside. Get aside. Okay.
Okay. Can I touch them now that they're wet?
Yeah.
That's poison?
Well, no, that's not poison.
What is
Hey,
that?
wait, let me get you out.
What did you start it with?
No, that's that. No, it's not poison. I'm sorry, when I do it, here. Okay. No, it's, I use it at night for mosquitoes.
Kills roaches, kills everything.
But I don't think they kill humans. Okay, well, if you don't want it, then don't probably get another drunk.
These are books with poems. Actually,
I'm sorry, there's not much light here. Because it's a cloudy day.
these are her journals.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever meet a man named Stephen Ford Brown? A young translator? No? In a book of his, he mentions a couple of letters.
I have been finding among other papers, other collections, Muna's papers. I have my very own theory about that. People keep, but, and when I find something of Muna or about Muna, I put it aside. I go to put it in a trunk, or there are many other things that I brought from the house. You have
You know if Frances is still alive?
I don't know.
I spoke to her 3 years ago. I should call her.
She came 2 years ago here to Puerto Rico. And then David's wife, and they sent me a little present. And I said to them, I am not in this disposition, and my health is, I am being expropriated. My house is being expropriated. And it was David or she that said that you were working
Yes.
I couldn't really decide about these things. I'm so glad you came. But it was one of the things I wanted to do before I go from this world. At least make a how do you call that? A fichero. Fichas, tarjetas, cards.
Cards, card catalog, you know.
Catalogs.
Catalogs.
That one of the things I wanted to do, but I have had so many problems with this, even with the building of this thing.
Yes. Yes, you want that book to translate.
See. I think they were the two first editions. The first edition of Sea Change. They must be there or in some other trunk.
I have an original copy of Sea Change. I got it used bookstore, and it had an inscription from Una to a friend in Oklahoma, and it says, "The days that make us happy make us wise."
That's it. That's it, Sea Change. I think I have 2 copies. Now I have to go there. I keep the diary with the original.
She bought this at a bookstore in Cincinnati.
Yeah, but I keep the original
Manuscript?
manuscript. It's not there. Because my son wanted, said he owns the manuscript because you need to get it to him. And I said, no. I keep it in another trunk down there. And it's missing the first page and the counterpart. You know the counterpart, the page?
The title page?
No, it's missing the first poem and the page that corresponds to that page, to that first page. And I was so distressed. And I keep it down there, not here, because well, it's awful. The people, students and other people here in the barrio, they don't understand anything about this. They cannot believe I want to do a collection of things. It's awful important here.
She did save everything, didn't she?
She saved everything. She even saved, her clothes came with the books. But it was Frances who sent everything to Puerto Rico after she died. They came to Muñoz Lee, and he gave them to Munita. And when Munita left for Barcelona, I don't know if she said she talked to me directly, but at least to my son, my youngest son. And I went there when she was moving. I took papers that she had thrown away, for example, the translation of Juana de Ibarburo and other poets, Latin American poets. I was mad about that. That's Munoz Lee, I guess he had some things of the Columbia University where he studied.
So how long were you two married? How many years?
Many years married and many years separated. So,
You talk?
huh? Of course. Of course. I mean, he gives me presents and everything. That's life.
That's life.
I said, I now have a new structure which has this room here. I said, you feel ill, you can stay here. It's, it's, everything I make is a condominium. This is a condominium with Munoz. I am old-fashioned. But he doesn't like papers or books. I mean, he likes to read, but he hates being among papers and books. You should go there. I can take you there. First I have to...
I can drive and you can point the way.
First I have to call for the son.
This really is an overwhelming collection.
I'm so glad it's something can be done for Muna, and because everybody writes about Munoz.
No, this needs to come up like this.
Well, things I have been finding, and I put them anyway. What's that?
An article.
That was a conference she gave in other places, but here, also here in a convention, in one of those conventions. That book I showed to you, that's another lecture about the Hostos, the educator.
Yeah, I have the copy of that.
Educator.
Yeah, about the Hostos. And I have it in my book, our book. But I don't have this.
Well, you
Somebody
got
take
that.
this. ROTC.
Why should that be there?
Shouldn't we should take it to Luis so we can...
Maybe it belongs to Luis.
Of course.
Yeah, Luis Munoz. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes I get, I am strange. I find strange if I find this here. Well, there's a reason. It belongs to Munoz Lee. From one side and then up. Oh. You know how I do it? I put them over my foot and I don't know what this is. You know the Batey? Batey is the small newspaper that Muñoz started in 1939. That's where the book was. And she helped him a lot.
What I was so looking for was something that Muñoz Marin started called Revista de Indias, 1918, only 2 or 3 issues.
Yeah, I know that.
Have you ever seen it?
I think they are they are mentioned in those books.
She mentions, it is mentioned in that book. And I wrote to the guy at the foundation, Julio,
Julio.
the foundation. I tried to be secretive. I said, I'm doing a study of Luis Muñoz Marin.
Yes.
I have the feeling whenever I say Muna Lee, they back away.
No.
No?
No, they are already,
La sombra de Inés is gone?
It's not gone, but they're trying to understand everything because they know it's part of Puerto Rico to be equanime in Spanish, egalitarian for the Puerto Rican situation. Muna did much for Puerto Rico, of course from the Department of State point of view, but anyway, it's part of the history of the island. So they have to understand that. And Julio is a real nice person. He's not much cultivated, but he's very, he's a fierce defender of the papers. When they came, they photocopied 6,000. And I said, all right, you just give me half of those photocopies. And when people come to see the newspaper, I show them the photocopies, not the original, because
Actually, these belong inside.
no, Muna was much too intelligent. Of course, she suffered a lot. You know, there are some personal papers at the university. Have you heard of them?
No.
Well, my daughter knows about them.
There's a collection of Muna's papers
Yes.
at the university?
You talk to my daughter, and she knows where those are in the museum and in the sociology department, or I don't know, because they have published something. They have published personal letter and personal affairs, about personal affairs, and dealing with Muñoz Marin. And I find I do not find it a good practice, except for studying, you know, for the studio. Not to make periodical asset about newspaper asset about everything.
Okay, Muna belongs with Muna over here, yes?
Yes, those.
And your father was a senator?
My father started as a representative to the Camera, lower Camera, in the decade of 1920. Then he helped Muñoz Marin inscribe or form the Partido Popular. He was a judge, and he resigned his post to help Muñoz Marin. And then there came something very unusual for there was an assembly that was won by my father directly,
Yes.
and Munoz said no. He was for Washington, but Munoz said no, and that split
The old friends.
the old friends. And
What year was that?
that's 44. And then Munoz said that here I have for you the senator post, and he won as a senator. And from the filas, from the Partido Popular, then my father did his best work for Puerto Rico. That's language, plebiscite,
Mm-hmm.
strikes
Mm-hmm.
at the university, ecology.
And his name, your father's name?
Rafael Arjona Siaca. That's
And here we are in the Instituto.
Instituto. I put that. I have inscribed Instituto de Libre Enseñanza in the Department of State, but then I changed the name so that everything stays here under his name, because you take that out, Juliet?
Not this one, not yet.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
we looked at-
you took this out?
yes, we looked at this one.
And
We
that,
looked at this.
okay,
Okay. This is emotional for me too.
I know. You can come whenever you want.
Because, you know, I look in libraries and there's nothing. I look in the literature, there's nothing. Just a glimpse, a little picture of, you know,
She
like a
gave
little...
her life to Puerto Rico. Though, of course, I tell you that when she left Puerto Rico, well, she found a job at the Department of State, and that meant that she had to have the position of the Department of State, but
The Yahweh's,
she gave her life to Puerto Rico. Llave, it's one of those
Yes.
cheap ones. Look at that. This is part of the house.
well now, I need to bring my camera.
I don't know what that is. And that's grandmother Mary.
Yes. I know Muna and her mother were very close.
Yes. Grandmother.
1904.
Supposedly, these things come out and stay in shells. It's awful. But if I hadn't done this, nothing had been saved. students can help if they understand what they're doing.
Well, you need to tell them. Somebody, you can tell them.
Yeah, I know. I have worked with students. When I was at the university, I worked at the university for some time, for many years.
Here's a pretty picture of what time does to books.
It's really a tragedy. Not time, that's political comehen. You know what tropical comehen? You don't know that?
Mm-hmm.
They
The insect?
destroy, huh?
It's an insect? Insect?
Insectos, they destroy everything. And that's comehen. That's I had to make it, you see, this is mi manuscrito de poemas de Munali, fotocopiado diciembre del 89.
Okay, fantastic. Yes, I was hoping to see a manuscript of her poems.
That's it.
This is from
That's when
Sea Change.
Sea Change. I had to do it because my son said the Munita had given the manuscript to him, and I said no. Y entonces I had the manuscript, but I found that page 1 and page 8 are missing. Let's find if I have fotos, poemas originales a máquina. They include other poems that were in papers, loose papers.
Yes. What's hard, to find are the poems that she published in magazines and then the unpublished poems. I don't know why she never did another book.
But there, in the lower part of this structure, I keep many reviews where she published. Esto apareció con papeles de don Fernando de los Ríos y José Martí. Why? I cannot tell you. That's
One of her.
Death in the Glass,
Yes.
Newton Guerrero. I have annotated everything that is different or strange. For example, those papers were among you see? Page 8. That was the counterpart of page 1. And so I immediately have them photocopied the manuscript. And this is humility, or because I kept it in a bank, or either here, not here in the other house, or in the bank. It got damaged by humidity.
Yes, these are the Newton Gale books.
Yeah.
So these are books, and these are things that she had. This is.
Yeah, it's a chest.
And these are some paintings or mirrors, hanging things.
I don't
You
know.
want to see them?
Yeah. Sí, ese es del Partido Popular.
These are awards plaques.
You can leave them,
Let's see. Francis told me the trunks from Washington were lost in the mail.
no. They,
Well, there was a problem with
no,
them.
no, there was a problem. They kept those trunks. They were not trunks. They were boxes. For more than a year or so, they didn't get to Puerto Rico, or 2 years. And when they got to Puerto Rico, I keep all the papers. It's Muna's friend, Dr. Blanco. They got to Puerto Rico. They got to Luis, to her son. And that's how I got them. He gave them to Munita, to his sister. And then, when she left for what's that?
Physics book or something.
The new textbook of physics. This belonged to James P. Shea. He was the husband of Aunt Loarina, Muñoz Marin Tia, her aunt. And he was such a good person and such a nice person. And those are the papers she used for...
Frances told me she loved to wrap and always made a special effort to wrap for Christmas, and here's her collection of paper.
That's it.
And why am I not surprised that after she got the nice paper and a gift, she saved the paper to reuse it?
That can be left outside because I get another trunk for them. Or because it will not close.
Weren't they inside?
Yeah, they were inside, but now they won't close. I don't know why.
Well, we'll make things work.
Can you say? Caja 6. Because at first I had them in boxes. And then I had them in archivos, files. And when I had them in files, I noticed that when I went to the hospital with my father and my mother, they even called the hospital to see that I was not at home. So I decided to put them in these. It's all right. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fit, it doesn't close well. It doesn't matter because maybe I should get a few days open so that air. But I'm not sure. That depends upon how I feel. Muna, libretas de argolla. I think there are many, many letters there. Are you tired?
I'm emotionally tired.